Welcome back. I am Professor Adimurthy, Faculty, Department of Automobile Engineering, VLD Association's Vachana Pitamaha Dr. P.G. Adakatti College of Engineering and Technology, Vijayapura, Karnataka. Welcome again to my second lecture on this suspension systems for automotive chassis and suspension. In the first lecture, just I introduced you various types of suspension systems, and we discussed the advantages and disadvantages of conventional suspension system and also the independent suspension system. And we also discussed one of the important types of independent suspension system, that is wishbone type suspension system. So next type of independent suspension system is MacPherson strut type suspension system. Here in this slide, you can see the figure 3.3 shows the MacPherson strut type suspension system. So this pictorial diagram is shown in other form in a more visible type of form like a 3D modeling in this particular figure. So here the basic elements of this MacPherson strut type suspension system is a triangular link which is similar to the lower wishbone of the earlier wishbone type suspension system, and it will be having the strut or the shock absorber which will be mounted above this stub axle, and the stub axle will be used. We are using the stub axle, we are mounting the wheel at the left. The similar arrangement will be provided at the right side also. When you observe here, so this is the wishbone corresponding to this triangular link, and this is the part of the stub axle corresponding to this one, and this is the spindle of the stub axle over which the wheel has been mounted. So the upper side of this stub axle over which this shock absorber or the strut is provided, and upper end of this strut is communicating with the body member. Means this upper end is communicating with the body member, and lower end of this shock absorber is communicating with this strut or the stub axle on which we are going to mount the wheel. So this kind of arrangement is called as a MacPherson strut type of suspension system. Here also you can observe the triangular link, and this is the stub axle, and this is the actual shock absorber or the strut, and this point, at this point it will be connected to the body member of a vehicle. So it is between communication between the chassis part and the wheel and the lower end of this wishbone. This is the most common arrangement used in many types of vehicles. In comparison with the earlier type, that is the double wishbone arm type, here only lower wishbone arm is used, and which is pivoted to the body structure and is connected to the strut by means of the bolts. A strut containing shock absorber and spring is used. Strut is fixed to the body structure at the upper end, as I have shown you earlier in the sketch, and lower end is connected to the lower wishbone member and also the stub axle over which the wheel is mounted. So what are the advantages of this type of MacPherson type of suspension system? Here, because of the arrangement, unsprung weight is low. Means most of the weight is properly supported with the suspension system, and all load, maximum possible load, is provided with the support from the suspension system. And in the earlier case, there was a possibility that the camber angle or the wheel alignment being disturbed whenever there is a small variation in the linkages or problem with the linkages. There is with rough terrains, there was always a possibility in case of the double wishbone arm type, the wheel geometry may change. And comparatively here it is simple in construction, and whenever the simple is in construction, automatically number of components are reduced, so maintenance will be easier here. And here the shock absorber can be replaced if necessary without disturbing the wheel assembly. And in the earlier case, since the shock absorber was placed between the upper control arm and lower control arm without removing the wheel assembly, it was not possible to replace the shock absorber. But in this arrangement, as you can see, the shock absorber is above the wheel and it is between the stub axle upper end and the body member. So easily we can replace the shock absorber whenever it is necessary. If there is any damage or leakage and we want to go for maintenance, it can be easily replaced, which is not possible in the earlier type of double wishbone type suspension system. So that is the major difference between the two. But this type of strut suspension system tends to transmit noise and vibration directly to body. So when you compare with the earlier type, the independent suspension system, that is the double wishbone arm type suspension system, very minimum shocks are being transmitted to the body or the members. But in this case, relatively, it tends to transmit more noise and vibration directly to the body. This is one of the major disadvantages of this McPherson strut type suspension system. Next type of independent suspension system is a vertical guide type suspension system. Here you can see the arrangement of the vertical guide type suspension system, and here you can see this represents the cross member of the chassis frame, and this is the stub axle on which we are going to mount the wheel, one at the left and another one at the right. You can see at the left and the right. On the cross member, we are mounting this arrangement, and over this stub axle, the wheels will be mounted on both sides, and a spindle that is supporting the stub axle is also supporting the kingpin, and a coil spring is provided here, and above this a upper spacing rod is communicating between the left and right vertical guide, vertical guide type suspension elements. Kingpin is, see here, this is the kingpin. Kingpin is directly attached to the cross member of the frame. So this is the cross member over which the kingpin is directly attached. So here the kingpin can slide up and down corresponding to the up and down motion of the wheel. So when wheel is mounted here and when wheel moves over the irregularities along with the wheel, so this stub axle will move up and down, making the sliding motion here, and the coil spring is supporting that motion, and the kingpin can slide up and down corresponding to the up and down motion of the wheel. And the lower ends of the kingpin are fixed to the cross members. Means this is the lower end of the kingpin and they are fixed to the cross members. And the helical springs are used between this spacing rod and the sliding member. This is the sliding member of the axle, and due to the up and down motion, the coil spring gets compressed and elongated. This gives the suspension action where the shocks will be absorbed. So once again you can observe, this is the cross member and this is the kingpin. Lower end of the kingpin is attached to the cross member, and this is, we can say, the steering knuckle or the stub axle arrangement, and it is connected to the wheels. So when wheels moves up and down, so there will be compression of this spring and the shocks will be absorbed due to the compression and expansion of this spring. So this kind of arrangement is called as a vertical guide type suspension system. So this is one of the simplest form of the suspension system, but not widely used because of it cannot be used for heavy loads, and the strength of the system is not suitable for the heavy duty vehicles, and also this is one of the primitive type of suspension system, so it is not popular with the vehicles. Now coming to the advantages of this vertical guide suspension system, you can see in this system caster angle, camber angle is not altered because the kingpin is directly mounted over the cross member of the chassis frame, and there is no chance for the variation in the caster angle or camber angle even on the rough road terrain, which is possible to some extent in case of MacPherson strut type arrangement, and it is very common, that is the change in the camber angle or the disturbance to the steering geometry is very common in case of the wishbone type suspension system. So with reference to those systems earlier we have discussed, in this vertical guide type suspension system there is no change in the caster or camber angle. In this system, the track, wheelbase and wheel altitude remains unchanged. So by the arrangement we have observed that the vertical motion, up and down motion, causes the compression and elongation of the spring, and there is no change in the track or the wheelbase for this type of arrangement. So the basic disadvantage of this vertical system is the stability of the system is decreased. So this is not so rigid system where the stability can be maintained. So the stability is decreased, and it is difficult to keep the sliding member free from shake and slackness. So as we observed here, there is a member which will be continuously sliding due to the road irregularities, and this sliding of this member cannot be completely arrested because of some slackness. There will be continuous vibration or motion, up and down motion, because of even small road irregularities also it will be moving up and down. This is one of the disadvantage of this vertical guide type suspension system as listed here. So we will go to the next type of suspension system. Various types of springs are used in the suspension systems, and one of the important type of the suspension system which is generally used with rigid axle suspension systems is a semi-elliptical leaf spring. Here the arrangement is shown, multi-leaf spring, semi-elliptical leaf spring is shown in this sketch. Here this is the frame side member, and this is one arrangement or the support at the frame, and this is the another support at the frame. And here you can see the rear axle, and the rear axle with the U-type bolt, with U-bolt, the set of these leaves are mounted with the rear axle with the help of the U-bolt. And you can see between these two supports which are called as shackles, this is the front shackle and this is the rear shackle. Between the rear shackles, this leaf, a master leaf which is having the I-type structure on both ends, is being connected with these shackles, and you can see this leaf is called as the master leaf or the master blade, which will be rectangular in cross section and a flat leaf, and a number of other leaves are also shown here, and they are semi-elliptical in shape or elliptical in shape, and you can see the number of blades are arranged, and the length of each blade is gradually reducing from the first leaf to the second leaf, third leaf, fourth leaf and fifth leaf, like this in a multiple blade or multiple leaf type semi-elliptical leaf spring. So the number of blades increases. As the number of blades increases, the length of the blade gradually decreases, and it is designed on the theory of beams, so that uniformly load will be applied or distributed on the entire set of these leaf spring. And here one end of this master leaf is fixed over a fixed arrangement or the shackle, whereas this is a swinging shackle, and the swinging shackle helps in accommodating the change in the length of this arrangement whenever the wheel passes over the irregularities, and the change in the length of the master leaf will be taken care of